Warriors, welcome to the video. And before I get into this video, people on Facebook Live have been asking me to bring out the monster. This is Tinka. You smell good, right? Tinka will be with us on every Facebook Live. So there she is, especially to the top fans in Facebook who have been asking, yep, Tinka's doing just fine. Go for your nap. And today, what we're doing is we are distinguishing the difference between coping techniques and healing techniques. Now, when we're talking about coping techniques, let's understand that many of these things that you do, you don't even know that you do, right? They've become so habitual. But you must understand that many of these coping techniques sometimes help with the symptoms, but rarely ever do they help with the root cause of your anxiety. So more than anything, I want to present these to you. I want you to comment below and let me know if you are stuck digging yourself a deeper hole through coping techniques, or are you implementing healing techniques? And healing techniques get to the root cause of the anxiety and shift things at an unconscious level, which is what we want. We want to change the meaning over things. We want to change the pairings in our minds between things that we believe are a threat, and we want to begin seeing those things in a much safer manner. Okay? So, coping technique number 1, positive thinking. So many people out there say, I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to be safe. I don't have anxiety. I don't have anxiety. Okay, but you're living in a very delusional world here, okay? You don't believe what you're thinking at a heart level. It's staying at a head level, and that's the problem. In today's world, there are many, many gurus, right, and coaches out there that say, hey, all you have to do is just think positively and your whole world will change. Yeah, I don't think so. For the majority of people out there, it's going to take a little bit more than just positive thinking in those moments. And more than anything, I just want you to look at your results. Are you always reverting to positive thinking and then going back to what you're actually storing at a core belief level? Take a good look. Another coping technique would be to slowly begin behaviorally avoiding things, okay? Avoiding things. Eventually, everything in the external world becomes a threat, okay? Because you've paired all those things up by avoiding them, and you're stuck in a very agoraphobic state. Okay, you may be in your room or you may have a safe place. Okay, so it's very important to understand that, again, by slowly avoiding certain situations, people, environments, these sorts of things, what's happening is that you're making it harder on yourself in the long run, right? And you're really living a life of restriction, right? We don't want that. Another coping technique is relying on a support person to do everything with you, right? Going to the grocery store, anything. Even going to work with you, driving to certain places, right? These sorts of things. So it's like this reliance that you have, and you are justifying and you are basically fueling the fear at an even deeper level. So we must begin to act in opposing ways to these coping techniques starting today. Another one is obsessing over an aspect of your life in order to deter from facing something. For example, working out excessively. People that work out all the time, it's not because they want to build bigger muscles. It's not really because they want to lose the body fat. Deep down at an unconscious level, they are overworking themselves because It helps them to avoid the very thing they don't want to come in contact with. The fearful thoughts, the emotions, the symptoms, those sorts of things. So again, by filling your plate up with more stuff, right, you are just strengthening these beliefs within you that recognize that the world is a very dangerous place. We don't want that. So, healing techniques, which is what we want to adopt. Healing techniques are things that people may be uncomfortable with in the beginning. But I can assure you that after a short period of time implementing these healing techniques, could be these ones, could be other ones, you're going to find that you begin to shift things at an identity level, okay? Because I always tell people that our goal each and every day when we wake up isn't to try and overcome anxiety. Our goal is to create a new identity and all the components that come with a new identity, shifting those, okay? So a healing technique would be something related to body work, okay? Now, when I'm talking about body work, I'm talking about, and there are many different ways that we can go about body work, but in my world, recognizing that the subconscious mind is also the subconscious body. When a traumatic and emotionally intense experience happens, it gets stored in different parts of the body. And so when we work with the body to identify where we're storing the guilt, the blame, the unforgiveness, whatever it may be, right? The repressed rage, that sort of thing. When we can locate where we're storing this information, the information related to past memory, now we're handling things at a deep, deep level, okay? So I'll give you another example of this as my dog walks away. Let's say that you have a picture in your mind, a picture of a past traumatic experience, okay? And with that experience came repressing the emotions, a feeling of not being able to discharge the energy, right? You were helpless in that moment. What I would do is I would say, hey, warrior, I want you to go ahead and calm your mind, calm your body, and then locate the area in your body where you're holding that memory, where you're holding that feeling of helplessness. And the person would go right here, right here. The image is connected to this part of my body. Okay. So then what NLP practitioners will do, what good, hypnotherapists will do, and other, practitioners that focus on regression work, they will make sure that they identify that the body is directly connected to the image, that sort of thing. So I want you to go ahead and look into this a bit more, body work, all right? Another healing technique would be visualization, but altering the submodalities. Here's what I mean. When you're visualizing something in the past, okay, go ahead and see it from another angle. Go ahead and hear it from a distance. Go ahead and feel as neutral as you possibly can in that particular situation, right? So it's altering the seeing, the hearing, and the feeling when it comes to the visualization practice. Now, when we're talking about altering the subcomponents of your sensory system, we're also talking about changing future images. So, healing technique, if I was visualizing, I will focus on what do I want to create in the future? What do I want to see? Okay, what do I want to hear? What do I want to feel? Feel emotionally, but also feel on my physical body. These sorts of things. So a great healing technique is utilizing that beautiful imagination that you have within you and reframing past, reframing future, as this video explains in great detail, but altering the subcomponents of your sensory system. Okay, again, this is a healing technique. It's not a coping technique. And warriors, don't be discouraged by the unfamiliarity of these techniques. Okay, don't be discouraged by them, because they can become very, very easy after a short amount of time. All you have to do is be open-minded to them, right? Accept them in and just begin practicing them, because whatever you practice for a set period of time will become habit, just like anxiety has been. Another healing technique would be a morning release journal. For example, you wake up in the morning, okay, and you got your journal on the side and you write down all your negative and limiting and catastrophic thoughts onto that piece of paper, releasing it out of your inner world and putting it into the outside world. Then you walk on over to the garbage can and you slowly and emotionally begin pulling out small pieces of that bigger piece of paper and placing it in the garbage can slowly. Your mind already associates the garbage can with things that you can throw out, things that you don't need to be so interested in anymore. So again, this is a fantastic healing technique, okay? Because later on in the day, you'll be able to look at those exact same thoughts differently. You'll go, hey, why am I so disinterested in this limiting thought of myself? Wow, maybe it's because of the morning release. Now, another healing technique is related to altering a person's physiology in the moment of sensitivity. So you're feeling anxious and your body wants to run from the situation. It wants to rush everything. And instead, what you do is you do the exact opposite. And you slow everything down, and you taste your food, and you walk a little slower, and you drive a little more consciously, those sorts of things. So understand that when you get sensitive, when you get anxious, your system is basically just asking a question, and it's saying, hey, do you want to hold on to the same meaning over this particular situation? And you can see how, because you've been so reactive in the last little while, that the system believes that it needs to continue to mobilize the body in this intense fight or flight manner because of how you've been reacting. So instead of reacting, we want to respond, and we want to respond by focusing and creating awareness around our physiology, okay? So that means, again, slowing down, okay? And when you do slow down, the system starts to go, oh, why isn't he speeding up right now? Isn't this situation supposed to be dangerous? Isn't his or her survival at risk? No, because the physiology controls your emotional state. Many people don't realize this. But what you do with your body in terms of speed, breathing patterns, and posture goes a whole long way as to which thoughts you're entertaining the most. So keep that in mind. Warrior, please recognize the difference, okay? If you look at your day right now, recognize what you're doing to cope with anxiety, and how you can begin to replace that with healing techniques and healing responses in moments of sensitivity. I promise you that if you can begin to accept what I've presented to you today and begin to work around this sort of approach, this sort of mindset, this sort of attitude, what's going to happen in a short amount of time, you are going to change. You, okay? Your thoughts are going to change. Your emotions are going to change. Your actions are going to change. Your body is going to change. Your imagination is going to change. Your external world is going to change. Because when you change what's going on the inside, every single time you change what's going on the outside, people start to look differently. What's going on there, right? Your career starts to look differently. You start to open yourself up to ideas that you couldn't tap into when you were just reacting based around your anxiousness. So keep this in mind. Warriors, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. Comment below. Make sure to subscribe. And if you have any other questions on the End the Anxiety program, head on over to this website right here. You are more than anxiety. See you soon.